of Blaze Communications Network Incorporated. Good evening and welcome to Blaze News Point. 45 minutes of news about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our 106. My name is Menso Mendy. On top of today's presentation, stories topping the headlines: nearly 2 years, Governor of Liberia fails to begin construction of the US 150 million Kalawanda Park in Marshall City as frustration mounts among residents in the area. President Joseph Boakai launches a national security strategy describing it as a landmark framework designed to safeguard the country's sovereignty. The National Public Health Institute of Liberia urges citizens to remain calm and continue observing standard public health measures amid Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And away from Liberia, Israeli airstrikes in southern Lebanon on Wednesday killed at least 9 people, including 2 paramedics, according to Lebanese authorities. The news bulletin, the voices of those making the news post, are all packaged on today's presentation. But first is Stephen Taru and the news bulletin. Good evening, Stephen.
Good evening, Mendy, and good evening, listeners. Nearly 2 years after President Joseph Boakai broke grounds for the construction of the 150 million Kalawada Park in Marshall City, Magabi County, frustration is mounting among residents as the ambitious project remains untouched. An investigation by Blaze FM has uncovered that despite promises surrounding the high-profile initiative, no major construction work has commenced at the site, raising serious concerns about government commitment and accountability. President Boakai launched the project on Friday, October 25, 2024, describing Kalawanda Park as a transformative tourism activity and creating leisure opportunities for residents, particularly children and families in Marshall. Instead of construction equipment and active development, reporters found an abandoned site now reportedly being used as an open toilet area by some residents living nearby. Residents who spoke to Blaze FM described feelings of disappointment and abandonment, saying the project has become yet another unfulfilled promise. During interviews at the site, community members recall how government officials and supporters also celebrated the groundbreaking, creating expectation that work will begin shortly afterward. Up to now, authorities have not publicly provided detailed information explaining the continued delay at the Kalawada Park site. President Joseph Newman Boakai has launched Liberia's national security strategy, describing it as a landmark framework designed to safeguard the country's sovereignty, stability, and democratic governance amid evolving global threats. Speaking on Wednesday at the official launch ceremony in Monrovia, President Boakai said security remains the foundation for national development, stressing that it is both a prerequisite and a catalyst for progress. He noted that the strategy represents more than a policy document, but a shared national vision aimed at strengthening Liberia's territorial integrity, protecting citizens, and ensuring long-term peace and resilience. The president warned that modern security threats are increasingly complex, including transnational organized crime, cybercrime, climate-related risk, economic vulnerabilities, and emerging public health challenges. Also speaking at the ceremony, the Minister of Justice, also Atua, described the country's national security strategy as a monumental milestone in the country's pursuit of lasting peace, stability, and sustainable development. Minister Atua said the document represents more than a policy framework, but a collective blueprint for building a safer and more resilient Liberia. The National Public Health Institute of Liberia is urging citizens to remain calm and continue observing standard public health measures amid social media rumors suggesting an Ebola outbreak in the country. Speaking Tuesday during the Ministry of Information's regular press briefing in Monrovia, NCO Interim Director General Dr. Sia Kamono assured the public that Liberia has recorded no confirmed or suspected Ebola cases. Despite the absence of cases, Dr. Komono emphasized the importance of maintaining preventive health practices, including regular hand washing, good personal hygiene, and strict adherence to guidelines issued by health authorities. She noted that Liberia's health surveillance system remains active, with monitoring missions continuing at the Lemboro crossings and the Rabat International Airport to prevent the importation of Ebola and other infectious diseases. Senior students of the Lighthouse Mission Academy have expressed satisfaction with the conduct of the ongoing West African and Senior School Certificate examination, praising the West African Examinations Council Liberia Office of what they describe as an improved and well organized testing process. The students made remarks in an exclusive interview with Blaze Radio at its headquarters in Monrovia on Wednesday. Speaking on behalf of their colleagues, students including Keisha Johnson, Princess Cattell, Dawulu Bala, and Peach Jr. said they initially felt nervous ahead of the examination, believing the text would be extremely difficult. However, they noted that their fears were eased after sitting the exam. According to them, proper preparation and classroom instruction helped them complete the examination period in a more relaxed and confident manner. The students also commended WAEC Liberia for the timely arrival of examination papers each day, describing it as a significant improvement compared to experiences in previous years. The further praise examination protocols are for maintaining professionalism, saying they were not intimidating but instead assisted candidates by clarifying instruction were necessary. Mangibi County District Number 4 Representative Emmanuel Yah has broken ground for the construction of a modern annex at Cateton University Junior College aimed at improving educational facilities and strengthening the learning environment. The project, valued at over 35,000 United States dollars, will include 2 classrooms, a teacher's cafeteria, and modern restroom facilities intended to enhance both student learning conditions and staff welfare. Speaking at the groundbreaking ceremony, stakeholders described the initiative as a significant investment in education and a boost to the future development of young people in Margibi County. According to information gathered, the project was initially conceived by the graduating class of the However, financial constraints prevented its immediate implementation. The student later appealed to Representative Yah for support, and in response, the lawmaker committed to fully funding the project, turning their proposal into reality. Construction is expected to be completed within 4 months, after which the new annex will provide additional academic space and improved facilities for the institution. A humanitarian organization operating under the banner His Safe Haven has taken custody of a baby reportedly abandoned in the bush in Baya Town, Jakwala District, number 3, Bon County. The infant was rescued by a passerby and later turned over to the Interior Protection Section of the Liberian Police in Bon County. Speaking Commander Hawa Kruman of the Women and Children Protection Section said the child's mother remains unidentified. According to Commander Kruman, the baby appeared to have a physical deformity and is currently undergoing medical treatment while police continue investigations into the case. She warned that abandoning a child because of disabilities or medical condition violates the law and urged parents facing such challenges to seek assistance from the appropriate authorities. Commander Krumah has meanwhile appealed to members of the public to provide information that could help investigators identify and arrest the child's mother. Managing Director of the National Transit Authority, Edmund Ford, has disclosed that the institution is negotiating to acquire a fleet of electric buses capable of operating without fuel or gasoline. Speaking Tuesday during a regular press briefing of the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, Monrovia, Ford said the NTA is actively engaging manufacturers and development partners to procure electric buses for deployment along key routes in Monrovia and surrounding counties. According to him, the initiative is part of efforts to modernize Liberia's public transportation system while reducing operational costs and environmental impact. Ford noted that the proposed buses will run entirely on electricity, eliminating the need for fuel and reducing authority dependence on fluctuating fuel prices. The National Identification Registry has dismissed reports claiming that the government of Liberia has sold the institution to Austrian firm OSD, describing the allegations as false or misleading and intended to undermine the agency's progress. Speaking at a press conference in Monrovia, NRR Communications Director Daniel Sabwe clarified that the registry remains a government institution charged with managing Liberia's national biometric identification system and issue secure national identification cards to citizens and legal residents. Sabwe explained that the government, through the NRR, is pursuing a public-private partnership arrangement aimed at attracting investment to modernize information communication infrastructure, logistics, and operational capacity. According to him, the initiative is designed to support a nationwide enrollment exercise intended to register Liberia's entire population within an 18-month period. And away from Liberia, Israeli airstrikes in southern Lebanon on Wednesday killed at least 9 people, including 2 paramedics. According to Lebanese authorities, as cross-border exchanges with Hezbollah escalated despite a partial ceasefire agreement. As the Ministry of drone strikes in the southern Sihor area where an ambulance pronounced. Officials also reported that a separatist strike targeted a vehicle just south of Beirut. In response, the Iran-backed armed group Hezbollah said it fired rockets into northern Israel, claiming it targeted a gathering of Israeli troops. The Israeli military said it intercepted a drone and 2 projectiles launched across the border. Blaze News.
Steven Talud with the news bulletin is indeed a record of featured on Blaze News Point. For new, fast, factual, and always up to date, you are just in tune to Blaze News Point. 45 minutes of the most accurate balance and untainted news about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our one world. Here are the big stories topping the headlines. Nearly 2 years, government of Liberia fails to begin construction of the US $150 million Kadawanda Park in Marshall City as mounts among residents in the area. President Joseph Boakai launches national security strategy describing it as a landmark framework designed to safeguard the country's sovereignty. National Public Health Institute of Liberia urges to remain calm and continue observing standard public health measures made in border outbreak in the Democratic Republic of in Lebanon on Wednesday killed at least 9 people, including 2 paramedics, according to the Lebanese authorities. The voices of those making the news and sports are still ahead, but this break, to be right back. Welcome back to Blaze News Point. We don't take our first development. Nearly 2 years after President Joseph Biden broke grounds for the construction of the US 150 million Katawanda Park in Marshall City, Margibi County, George. As an investigation by Blaze FM has uncovered that despite promises surrounding the high-profile initiative, no major construction work has commenced at the site, raising serious concern about government commitment and accountability. Residents who spoke to Blaze FM described feelings of disappointment and abandonment, saying the project has become yet another unfulfilled promise.
Money Howard, what to I need to not sure yeah. But when the day the president came here, they put all the people to brush there, and they see they coming open to work there for the men and the women. But when the day they brush over there, and they were working there from that day up to the sun. I 3 years in here now. We haven't heard nothing like any sun. For the president can say, oh, come and work here. For the only thing that they saw, they put brush our, they open our roof. And we were so happy for that. But when they open our roof from that time up to the sun. So last day up to the time here, we don't see nothing like for some other kind to say, oh, they can pay our party, nothing like that. So I don't know how to say if I won't work in Basho yet. Okay. The thing I got to tell you, say, Baga, you can't pay our hero, money, our bottle. This is your battle, what things of the stuff of okay. My personal, you work for us, so that you can't continue our free, help our blessing, and you can't take care of our place. See what face. Money, our bottle, I need to not show you. But when the day the president came here, they put
That's voices of residents speaking with Blaze FM. They also expressing disappointment and abandonment after nearly 2 years when President Joseph Boakai broke grounds for the construction of a US 150 million Kalawanda Park in Marshall City, Margibi County. President Joseph Boakai has launched Liberia National Security Strategy, describing it as a landmark framework designed to safeguard the country's sovereignty, stability, and democratic governance amid involving global threats. Speaking Wednesday at the official launch ceremony in Monrovia, President Boakai said security remains the foundation of national development, stressing that it is both a prerequisite and a catalyst for progress. He noted that the strategy represents more than a policy document, but a shared national vision aimed at strengthening Liberia's territorial integrity, protecting citizens, and ensuring long-term peace and resilience.
The critical importance of security in our world is fraught with global challenges cannot be overemphasized. Security is foundation now. It is both a prerequisite and a catalyst for development. It is for this reason that I am deeply pleased to officially launch the National Security Strategy of the Republic of Liberia. For safeguarding Liberia's sovereignty, territorial integrity, national stability, and democratic process. In our increasingly complex and interconnected world, the nature of threats to national security continues to
Since the declaration of WHO on the 17th of May 2026 declaring the outbreak of public health emergency of international concern, followed by Africa CDC's declaration of the outbreak of public health concern of continental security, the National Public Health Institute of Liberia, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, has been vigilant. We have been active. We started screening all travelers from the 17th of May, and we also appeared before our people and the public to address the nation on the 19th of May. Whilst there are no confirmed cases of Ebola, there are no suspected cases of Ebola, there are no contacts of Ebola in Liberia, we still are vigilant and we remain at medium risk according to WHO. The surrounding countries of DRC and Uganda are classified as high risk, but we in West Africa, because of air travel and movement of people, are being classified as medium risk. So in light of that, we are on high alert and we are continuing to prepare. We have established an emergency preparedness and coordination team for the outbreak, and we have pillars. These are structures that we work with. For surveillance, we have intensified our surveillance. By surveillance, I mean close monitoring, observation, and we are doing this at all our borders for air, sea, and land borders to ensure detection of any possible potential threat. We've also increased screening at the borders. All travelers are having their temperatures checked, and we now have installed a digital thermal scan that passengers can walk through and the temperatures can be recorded. By screening, I mean the assessment, the evaluation. We also ask their history. We elicit information as to where they are coming from, if they had any contact or interaction with a person.
Women suggesting an Ebola outbreak in the country, and the same time noting that Liberia's health surveillance system remains active with monitoring measures continuing at land border crossings in the Rabos International Airport to prevent the inception of Ebola and other infectious diseases. It is now half past news hour. We now go to Studio B, where Stephen Taylor returns with the passion of last sports.
Charles Sacco Jr. is an English-born winger of Liberian heritage. He came